What's up, everybody? What's going on? Hope y'all are doing well. Hope you're all healthy. Hope you're all safe. Hope everything is good in your life, in your world. Um, I uh, I didn't plan on making a video here tonight, but I'm gonna do this because the last video I made, I had a comment on there, a question on there, where someone was asking what a paradigm is, or was asking for me to elaborate on what a paradigm is because I did mention it. I've mentioned it a few times on my videos. So, um, what a paradigm is you consider it's basically your programming. Okay, it's everything that you've seen and heard from birth to till the point where you're old enough to make your so-called your own decisions, because you're really not making your own decisions. You think you are, but you're not. We think we are, but we're not. That includes me. So, um, a paradigm is basically what your parents, society, siblings, TV, school, teachers, and things like this, what they've taught you from zero um, to life. The things also, not just what people tell you, but what you see, how your parents behave, how teachers behave, um, what you're taught is good, what you're taught is bad, what you're taught you can do and can't do, and what you see your parents able to accomplish and not able to accomplish, their frustrations, their stresses, their beliefs. All this stuff is when you're young and your mind is wide open, you're receiving this all, and you're basically building yourself based on all this information that's coming in. You don't have any knowledge at that time or ability to block out the things that don't serve you and only receive the things that do. When you're older, you have that ability, but people don't do it. But anyway, your paradigm is that. Your paradigm is your programming based on your upbringing and all the influences in your life. Um, that influence, that upbringing is responsible for 95% of your results. Your subconscious mind is responsible for 95% of your results. So your paradigm being your programming, it's just like a computer. The computer can only act and function based on what it's programmed to do. It cannot do something it's not programmed to do. It can only do what it's programmed to do, and we're no different. We just, rather than call it a programming, we call it a paradigm. That's really the only difference. Um, so for a computer to be able to do something other than what it's programmed to do, it needs a new program. So in short, for you to be able to do the things you have not done, to be able to become the person that you want to become, and achieve things that you want to achieve that you've never achieved, you need a new program. You need a new paradigm. Okay, so I'm trying to make this, it's so important that you guys get this. I'm trying to make this as simple as possible, but in short, it is your programming. Nobody's responsible for their own programming. Nobody from 0 to 5 or 8 years old is aware enough to let in what they want and block out what they don't want, or build their own paradigm or program. But as an adult, you can do that. So real quick, I'll get into a story of mine to let you guys know how this whole thing went down for me. It was 2013. 2013, I had a really, really good friend of mine. He's like a brother to me. A really good friend of mine introduced me to another way of thinking, another way of seeing things, and a spiritual world. And a paradigm was a part of that, and I was fascinated by it. Um, for for anybody who knows me, you guys know that I have a strong interest in spirituality, and I look at things a little bit differently. But that paradigm thing was very interesting to me, to the point where at that time I looked up who was teaching paradigms, and I made a commitment to go to a conference in Canada to learn more about this paradigm. It was a 3 day, I think it was a 3 day um, conference. But at that time, I had not, this is October 2013, and I hadn't really gotten into real estate. I was working a 9 to 5, and I was pretty close to being check to check, and we had a baby on the way and all this. But it was just a time where financially we were a little behind where we should be. But either way, I went and I maxed out my credit cards, and it was a lot to go. It cost a pretty penny to get there, but I was committed, and I knew in my gut, I knew in my heart that this was something that was for me, and it was very valuable, and it's something I had to do. So I went. Had good credit before that, but anyway, it was worth it. So I went to Canada to this conference, and the speaker, and the reason why I'm not saying who the speaker is, because I don't want you guys to lose the message by focusing on the messenger. Okay, it's a great speaker. I love him very much, and I would do it all over again. But just for the sake of this video, I'm going to stick to the topic and stick to the message. I went there to learn more about why I was doing what I was doing, why I wasn't achieving the way I wanted to, why I can't get to where I want to go, why I'm not the person I want to become, and learn more about the conscious mind, subconscious mind, because you are acting on your subconscious mind. Whether you want to believe it or not, you're acting on your programming. You're not acting on what your conscious mind you may say you want to do. So I went there in 2013, and my world was just turned upside down. The things he was saying were they just seemed, I've never heard anything like this about conscious, subconscious, and paradigm, and how you could be whatever you want, achieve whatever you want, do whatever you want, become whoever you want, if you just reprogram your software, your internal software. If you just can make a paradigm shift, then everything has to change as a result of that shift. So I was intrigued. It sounded very simple. Change this and everything changes. And that's exactly what happened. So I also, while I was there, I spoke to, I'm going to call her a life coach, but she's a spiritual coach, a spiritual life coach. Great woman. But I sat down with her and I wanted to speak with her and see what she heard when I talked. What is it that I'm saying that I'm not aware of, and what can I change? So I told her I wanted to do real estate, and I wanted to do rehabs and construction, and I have no experience in any of this at that time that I'm telling her all this. I was almost 30 years old before I even knew what drywall was, just so you guys have an idea of how behind I was in this real estate thing. It's not like I had a long history of it. But when I talked to her, she basically told me it's never going to happen. And I thought he shook me up. She shook me up even more. So she said, in your voice, I hear fear of success, the fear of change, the fear of doing something different. And I didn't hear that. I was so confident in what I wanted to do, and I was so ready to blame everybody else for the reason why I hadn't gotten there. But she told me the same thing he was saying. She just echoed it. She said, your paradigm is not set for financial success. Your paradigm is not set to be a real estate investor, like you're saying. And so I learned more about a paradigm and how to change it, how to reprogram it through her help, through his help, through my own research. And I changed. That day when she talked to me, a shift had been made because she shined a light on something that I didn't know was there. And we're all operating on things that we don't know are there. We're all operating on our programming that we didn't create, right? We're just becoming our parents in essence, or whoever it is that we admire, look up to, or had the most influence on us growing up. That's what we're becoming. So long story short, for 2013, I came home, and the very next year I did my first flip. I had zero experience in that, zero contacts, and it was a bumpy ride. I'm not going to say it went smooth. I made a lot of mistakes, but at the end of it, I made more money on my first flip than I made in a year at my job. So from there, it was just off to the races. How good can I get at this thing? And constantly, I don't want y'all to think you just make a shift and that's it and you never look back, but you constantly have to readjust it. You constantly have to keep feeding the new paradigm. You have to keep feeding the new program. You have to strengthen the program, because like any other program, there's viruses. So your old way will try to come back up. Your old fears, your old doubts, Your old habits will try to kick back in, but you have to be strong enough to keep feeding the new paradigm. So I don't know if I've on another video if I spoke about a gatekeeper or not, but you have to be your own gatekeeper. You have to be able to put in what you want and keep out what you don't want. And that's a 24-hour a day job. Okay. I know this video sounds very serious, but there's nothing as serious as this. This is very serious. This is how you change. This is how you achieve. This is how you become someone that you've never been. This is how you do things that you've never done. Okay. So the paradigm is very important. I'm so happy to get that question. I hope this video clears things up. I'll make another video about techniques and things like that to shift your paradigm, to change your paradigm. But you have to believe that this is true. A lot of people ask me about real estate, and I'm happy to answer questions and help you however I can help you. But that's not really where the questions should be geared. The question should be geared to, Mike, what did you do to change yourself to become what you become, to do the things you have done? Because if you've known me for a while, this is not my background. Real estate is not, it's nowhere near my background. All right. So I grew up in an apartment complex. I never even lived in a house. So I don't know anything about houses. Like I said, I was 30 years old before I even knew what drywall was. And that was the extent of my knowledge. So I definitely didn't know the business side of it. I didn't know the physical side of it, but it didn't matter. Once the paradigm shift was made, I could not be stopped. And I'm continuing to do that. So that's what I want for you guys as well. So those really are the questions that interest me the most. That's where I think if I can help anyone and change anyone's life, I think it's in that direction rather than the ABCs of real estate. Because if your paradigm is not right, it doesn't matter what I tell you about real estate anyway. Either you're not going to do it, or when you try, you will self-sabotage if it's not in line with your current paradigm. So I hope that clears things up. I hope this is a valuable video. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. Give me a like if you like this video. Give me a thumbs down if you didn't. Leave me a comment if it helped. Leave me a comment if there's anything you want to add to it or something that I could have added to it. If you have a question, leave it in the comment section. Again, subscribe, hit the bell so that you're notified when my next videos are out, because I make them very sparingly. I'm not going to promise to make more videos right now, but hit the bell and be notified. And I hope this helps. My goal is to help in the way that I think I can help best. And this is how I feel is the best help, is to shift your paradigm, to change who you are, change how you think, and change your results because of that. So again, subscribe, like, pass this on, please share it. Everyone needs to hear this. Everyone has a paradigm, and most people are not conducive to what they say they want. They're not in your best interest. So I love you guys. Keep doing what you're doing. Until the next video, give this some thought, play this a couple times, change your paradigm, and I will see you next time. All right? Peace.